Alrighty. So let's take a look against. What is this, below 0?
Yeah.
I saw that they were going pretty hard on boost amounts. A throwaway touch. On the double, I think. I just didn't get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Following that would be ideal if you could. You have a pretty heavy beat on him, so higher, softer touch that you can land, actually recover on would be.
Yeah, I had a poor landing.
Let's see. I think it's a bit, I would say, recognition on which man you are in the play is important here. So Hertz, even though you can't reach the ball, you are technically first man. You're half forcing. Obviously, it's a shot. Jay should recognize that he is second man from here, and be pushing a little bit further front post. And that would give Bubs the opening he needs to actually go and challenge this. Or, alternatively, if he stays all the way back like this, Bubs can cut mid.
Yeah.
The thing is that this is leaving a lot of open space on the front post if Jay does that. So I personally would follow it, I think. And that would clear up some confusion.
Yeah.
Because you basically have 2 third men right now. It's kind of that's why it's a double. And if you can calm it well, it's not a problem, but that's just a very difficult thing to communicate.
Yeah.
Good possession play. Let's see. I think that this jump is probably pretty unnecessary. So Jay's cutting over and then sees a bit of a drop from Bubs. But the thing is that this guy, I don't even know how to, Suki over here on the backboard, should be able to get the read no matter what. And if he can't get the read, that's when Jay jumps. So this ball has to be past Suki before Jay ever decides to jump. And at the point here,
I think he recognized that, and Com's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have gone for that." Because despite it being a pass, you probably should not go for bad passes.
Yep, don't want to, because it will sacrifice your possession is the biggest thing. Looks like you guys, that was a good touch by Bubs that allowed you guys to keep some pressure on them. But without that, you guys are back on your side of the pitch. Alright, the question is the block better, or would be waiting here better? Is the question. So for me...
Didn't have any boost.
Sorry? Not you.
Are you talking about
I'm talking Jay and Bubs right here.
Okay.
So let's watch it from Jay's perspective to start, just so that we recognize what he's looking at. So Bubs jumps, middle left boost, and now we're here. You have just gotten a touch, pass out mid. We have this touch, which we block. Alternatively, or the other, so we get that 50. The other option is both so we force in case he gets a bad touch or does something weird with it, but we don't jump and we let him hit it to Bubs is the other option. I don't think it's necessary all the time. Especially if you know they have a monster clear lined up, then challenging early for the chance of the 50-50 is good. But the thing is that this touch isn't going to give you guys any control. As a mix-up, you almost scored. So, but it does let the opponents hit it first. So as a mix-up, what I would like to see incorporated is plays like this where you just sit at the, like if you think they have a slightly awkward angle, sit at the mid and lock them into their half. So basically, like that's something that one of my old coaches I worked with touched on a good bit, especially with NRG. You've got one person making a play in the corner, and then but the thing is that for the most part, this isn't a very scoreable ball. Like unless Hertz can get it around control, there's not much. Hertz, you're here, whatever.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's fine. You're talking to the camera.
Yeah. Unless you can get it around control, you don't really have much of a scoring angle. You have to bump him, demo him, hit it past him, something along those lines. But any of those things, for the most part, either will take enough time that Jay will be able to cover it, or the ball won't be in front of the net. So in any case, if we're looking to really score this without dusting control, we don't want to jump until like we shouldn't be off the ground until that happens. So yes, you can get the block here, but the only thing that you're really like the only thing that you're looking for that gives you a scoring opportunity is if you straight up beat him. That is something that doesn't happen much at the level you guys play at. If he is in net ready for the ball, he will reach the ball. It's basically just how it's going to work. So but the question is, so from here, let's just say we identify that we are at least getting a 50-50 if we decide to go. The question is, does 50-50 give us a better chance of controlling the ball, or does letting them hit it and trying to position for their touch going to give us a better chance to control the ball? So when is it better to get a 50-50? 50-50 is great when there are multiple players in their net and you're expecting it to kind of careen a little bit wildly, and you've got both of your other players like ready to rotate out. So Bubs is good to challenge here, if depending on where the 50-50 goes. You Hurts aren't really, for the most part, because you are stuck on the sidewall, I'm assuming with very low boost. You aren't ready to challenge. Let's say you make a really hard clear from near the middle left boost, and then it bounces mid. And in that case, Jay gets the same read of challenging the ball. Then I'd say, yeah, it's probably a good idea. We've got two players that can challenge, and we don't give them the chance to clear it. It's also a good idea to challenge the ball if they have the biggest clear ever. You don't want them to be able to clear it all the way towards your backboard, like where it will hit your backboard if you can help it. But on the so that would be another time when you'd want to go for the 50-50, even on the off chance you can't make it. However, in a case like this, with only one person really playing the ball or the next touch, which it would. So in this instance, how it plays out, there is only one person ready for the next touch. That's Bubs. However, if you look at how Control over here is getting this touch, his only options from here are to hit it sidewall or somewhere around here, or to try and basically hit it into the ceiling, which is just going to screw them because Jay is reading it. So he has his best clear option here is to bang it over this way, which is just not very likely that he's going to have the mind to do it. Sorry. Let me reset.
It's a hard angle. You're fine.
The thing is he doesn't have the power to clear it well past midfield. He doesn't have the power to clear it well past the midfield line. So in that case, if we just post two people up on both sides of the midfield line, the left side and the right side, he has nothing he can do. The right side is the safer option for them. So you have that person be the shadow, basically the one that stays close and faces to the side. So basically what you do in a case like this is Bubs is doing exactly what he needs to do. He sits over here, he watches where Control is going to hit it, he pounces on it. However, if Control clears it off to the side, Jay is doing two jobs. He's, first of all, if Control screws up and say hits it into the ceiling and gives him a shooting option, that's what Jay's covering that's Jay's best case scenario. So he's going to make sure he's covering that. But the other thing he's doing is he's facing his card to the side. So when this guy gets this clear attempt off to the side, he's the first one to it. So basically, you let them take that touch in this particular set of circumstances. No matter what they do, you guys end up with possession for the next touch.
I mean, you could also argue that the only reason he went up for it is because Jay went up for it. And if no one went up for it, then we would just be throwing away possession. Because Jay goes up considerably faster than Control does.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have just been a call out.
It's possible. Control doesn't have a good passing angle, though, from where he is. He could potentially hit Suki. Like, you're saying that if Jay doesn't jump, Control might do something better with the ball?
Like, he would catch it instead, now that he knows no one's going for it.
Well, yeah, but then Jay's on top of him because he never jumped. He's staying close. So he dunks him. So, because how this ball goes, this ball being this high, Jay doesn't jump. He drives closer, and then he's going to force Control to jump at some point. Otherwise, he can just score it.
Okay.
And then when he tries that, when he jumps is when Jay turns out. So that way, he's forcing the ball to Bubs. And then if he gets his best case scenario clear, which is off to the side, well, Jay just peels off in that direction. and gets the first possession. You can see that the only threat Jay has is that Turtle demos him. Turtle can't even beat him to the ball. The only thing Turtle can do is reach Jay before Jay becomes unreachable. That's his only hope. So like you'll see NRG in teams like this, like they will set up to maintain possession because there's no good scoring opportunity yet. So it does depend on the circumstance, and I don't hate jumping for it, but as a mix-up, employing the idea of patient midfield, as I generally call it, as long as they don't have the most massive clear ever, just post up at the midfield and let them hit it to you, because you'll be able to cover all their options, depending on some things.
Yeah, that's fair.
One of the reasons it's good as a mix-up is it's a thing that they don't always expect. If you've done it over and over and over again, then yes, they will learn to, like, say, hit it into the ceiling so that their other teammate can catch it and dribble it out. And, like, that's what they can do. But that's hard. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Gotcha. So fighting game conditioning, which is why you want to do both.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right, let's see. Jay needs to hit Supersonic out earlier and take pads. I like to use the idea of flip 12. Basically, use a 12 pad to hit Supersonic. I don't care if you miss every other, like, if the difference is 12 boost but not Supersonic, or 0 boost but Supersonic, I will pick Supersonic every single time, because the Supersonic allows you to get more pads quicker. So when you eventually do have to jump for the ball that you can't reach, you can use the Supersonic speed to pick up more pads on your out. So he hits this small boost pad in the middle. He should immediately be flipping towards the outside here to pick up these pads, potentially even get this boost as he rotates out. Instead, he can't. He potentially, if he had done that straight up, like right here, had flipped for this ball could be his. Because he picks up this pad, sees that this boost is up, turns for it, and now he is here instead of where he is now, and he's the one that turns on it because he beats Suki. As it is, he can't turn, he can't pick up more boost very easily because he's just dusted to the ball and he's too low to do anything about it. So this guarantees them free possession and gives Suki basically a free beat. And now you're trying to 2v3. Yeah, that's fair. Just
I kind of go because I kind of have to.
Yeah, it's an awkward angle to go from, but I'm assuming you kind of need the pad. Go wider.
Okay.
You can. All this time you're wasting right now is time you could have spent picking up boost pads on the backside, and then if you had timed it so your back post here, there's nothing he can do. Like, you hit every single ball he does, and the only one you don't hit is all the way up here, and Bubs covers it because he's further out wide. So I would let you, like, you're forcing, yes, but that's literally all you're doing. You're covering one angle. You use this time effectively and wisely, get more pads, you're actually covering his options.
Stay back post, essentially.
Basically, it's use your time wisely, and the idea that a lot of coaches use is they call it back post timing. It's getting towards your position of defense as the final touch happens. So the final touch happens here. So if you could be back post with some amount of speed here, he has got no options. Because if he hits it behind you, you've got time to slow down and backflip. If he hits it in front of you, you've already got the momentum to reach it. If he hits it high, you can still cover that because you've got the space. Sure, if he's literally here on your net, then yeah, that's not how that works. But you want to arrive at the last touch, or arrive in the angle. You got where you needed to defend from now. Like, this would be an okay defensive position because you can go straight up for a backboard touch and you can cover basically all of the net. But you're here now. The play happens now. Like, that's how big the difference is, and that's why you're hung dry. So does that make a little bit of sense?
Yeah.
It is hard to see exactly what's happening, but because you have to get the read on what they're doing. But at the very least, you can start to try and tell yourself, I know he can't shoot from here. Let me use this time wisely. Even if you don't know exactly what's going to happen, you can kind of like do it as zone coverage almost.
Right.
Optimistic, I guess.
Yeah, probably not.
Bubs touch here. Yeah. As Like if you stay there, we got good coverage because Jay's on the left side. You get a free ball potentially. Like that's kind of the thing is almost no matter what, I find that players almost always get the same touch no matter the circumstance. If you look at control, this guy's gonna hardly even see as he decides to go for this. Like last he saw, you hadn't jumped. Let me double check that. That's my assumption. Could be wrong. Yeah, he can't see you. You haven't jumped yet. So no matter what you do, you could be waiting right where he's about to hit this. He's going to hit this anyway.
All right.
Even if he doesn't, he decides to air dribble from here. And his air dribble goes from here, where he is now, down to here. So doesn't that kind of suggest that no matter what option he chooses, you are going to be there for it? So that's kind of where that letting them hit it to you idea is really powerful, because his best case scenario is to put it, or at least in terms of not letting you do anything productive, is to hit it all the way over here, because you're going to have a really hard time covering the better options and this at the same time. But that's what you've got J for. As long as you got two players on both sides of the midfield, and you lock them in.
All right.
I think this is a safe ball to put to the corner, or even catch for a 50-50, I would say. You do get a good pop, but Bubs gets a good pop, but the issue is it's kind of baiting. So Jay does dodge the demo. It's reasonable enough. It's a little bit awkward, but it works. Working as a unit. For you, Bubs, if you don't have the boost to park at mid, then just don't even bother. Let the fluid rotations happen. You're too unlikely to be able to do anything here. What I would rather see, so like let's say that Suki over here does what Bubs is trying to cover. He catches the ball in this circumstance. Is basically what Bubs is trying to block. Obviously, he does nothing as is. The alternative is Bubs here. First of all, he should get these pads if they're here, because you, Hertz, are already in net, so he doesn't have to worry about the net at all. He's only looking for the play that goes forward. So starting closer and moving up this way is not a bad idea. He picks up this pad, and now he can sit car facing this way in case this 50-50 does exactly this. And now with 24 boost, probably more than that in all honesty, he could actually potentially reach this ball. So pick up that pad, stay close, don't go too wide. The ball's not going fast enough for there to be any reason to go wide. And the other player, like let's say Bubs is probably worried about the ball going behind him and this player being here to shoot. If that happens and Bubs is up here and it goes behind him, then Hurt, you can just cover it. Like, you're fine. As long as you get your player back in net, it's going to be okay. He sits here, posts up. Now this is a ball he can probably follow and actually block. And then even if he doesn't and does decide to turn out here, he gets more pads, goes back post, Hurts, you challenge first. Now we've got two-player defense again, which is what we want. What we don't want is a one-player defense, which is what happens here because we've got two players committed. So if this catch had happened, Bubs probably can't reach it anyway and is still stuck in, like, you guys aren't layering. In this circumstance, you guys aren't layering defense as a team. And that's how they can pick you off one by one and end up being like in a 3v1 position. Recovery post though. Nice. Great. Touch. This looks pretty reasonable. I'll pick up the boost. Okay, yeah. Okay.
'Cause
This is the kind of ball that you should follow out, Hurts, as weird as it is. This is the kind of ball you should follow. Um, so long as Bubs gets the read, there are two options that will happen here. Bubs will either clear it over the opponent's head, which means that you can push out. You'll be fine. There's no threat on net. Or he's going to get a 50-50. Any kind of 50-50 he gets coming from the net will not go directly into the net. So you can follow him, do it slowly so it doesn't like, if it drops straight down and hits the back of your car and goes into the net, that's on you. But if you follow him conservatively, but follow him, you can track that. But what you need in order to make this save is you need some amount of momentum, no matter what you do. So you land here, this touch happens. Now, as this, follow this ball. You will lose nothing by following this ball. And then if this happens, you are on it, and there's no goal. So, as much as I appreciate the back post, this is a free ball for our team. Anytime there's a free ball for your team, you should probably be pushing. And on defense, specifically in circumstances like this, it actually is better for your defense to follow him and push early because, as you can see, like, you're here for this ball now. So, a little bit of a weird circumstance, but it's one of the few times I'll advocate, yes, please push out a net early. More often than not, I'm always wait patient in net, but that's time for the mix-up. 50. Do the thing. Yes. Nice. Bubs, you need to start wide earlier. So here, you don't do hardly much of anything from the midfield. Like, theoretically, no matter what kind of touch you get, you have 3 players near you. One of them is going to block your redirect when you have 24 boost. So what you do instead is you take the wide route out. It gives you more boost pads. You let the play develop a little bit. And now, if something had worked, you'd be over the side here. And even for this ball, you can jump if you need to. Starting from over here, you can cut this off from Suki, but you staying underneath the ball here for what is, in fairness, the absolute best case scenario. In this case, it's not likely enough to happen. It leaves you underneath the ball. You've got too many players covering you. It's not a good angle to do anything. And now, as much as you could get bumped, you have no chance of going up for this because you're too low on boost and coming at it from too hard of an angle. So this guarantees them the free touch when you were, at least from what I can see, probably the only person that could have challenged this. Yeah, because Hurt should continue to go back since you're upfield. So hopefully it doesn't cost you. It doesn't. But if you ever want to challenge that ball, start wide. And longevity-wise, it's a good idea to do. I like the push out. Is really good. This is solid. Hurts. Yeah, no. So you should wait. You should either turn a little bit earlier, or wait until this pop happens to turn. Because if he screws up here, this is a ball you want to reach. As much as Jay should be following behind you, because you guys have a true breakaway. Once you decide not to go for it, don't flip here. Trust that Jay has the potential to get a ball. If anything, you should be flipping this way, so that you can immediately turn back in case Jay gets a 50-50 that goes neutral. You want to pounce on it. Because if they get a 50-50 that goes straight down right here, which is effectively this, and they're slightly more ready for it, like, all they need is control to go forward here. If control goes forward instead of backing off when Suki fakes him, you are hard dusted. You are dusted anyway. But he could probably put this backboard rather than corner. So you're going to be in a lot of trouble if you don't have some presence on this play. Not to mention the fact that your third man's job is to collect free balls. So if your team has a free ball, you should be positioning to receive a free ball, a pass from their free ball. So you going back right here is not giving you any passing option. It's not giving Jay any passing option. Granted, he doesn't have to actually get the touch, but like I said, you being a passing option also keeps you relevant in case this happens. Because you want to shadow probably for the most part once you realize you're getting beat, but you can't because you're completely underneath the ball. If you try and shadow, he just shoots it on net and scores. Because he'll see it early enough that he'll just pop it.
Okay.
Nice. Good control. I gotta say, this looks clean, though. Like, overall, this looks pretty dang clean. Good idea. With execution. You got a player behind you. Push out.
Okay.
Yeah, follow him. So what you're looking for, whoa, so potential here. Jay jumps, 50-50's control, pinches mid. Who's there if that happens? No one at the moment. Bubs is backwards, and you are basically just as far away as Turtle, because more than likely if this works, it's going to be going slightly in their direction. So if you want to be able to get to that ball before Turtle does, you have to already be mid. You also, this ball shouldn't directly go into net, and even if it does, you have someone behind you. So your job isn't to cover the net here. Your job is to prepare for either a neutral 50-50 or for the next offensive play. And then if it doesn't work, all you do is you calmly rotate back post. In a circumstance like this, if Bubs gets this clear, gets a good read on this, you would already be rotating out this way. Bubs gets the pop, hits it towards the sidewall, you go up and hit it here before any of the opponents have a chance to do anything.
Right.
Or you just are coming at it from a slightly better angle. Like you're to any potential ball quicker. And your offense is better. Without sacrificing the defense. It's always kind of a qualifier. Good flick. Bubs is there. A little bit of a cheeky touch, but I like it. I like the pass. That's good. Hey, there we go. Nice. Oh, that is so unfortunate. That looks like just a bad read on Bubs' part, for the most part. Which is not always the most you can do about it. Did you have a plan on the kickoff at all?
What do you mean by
no, like
probably
neutral
left,
call,
they
back left?
but they canceled it by also going left.
Mm-hmm.
So it just stayed middle. Just unfortunate.
Yeah, no. Truly unfortunate. Gonna happen from time to time. Nice, good force. The positioning on this is really good. Jay gets the force, Bubs gets the free ball. As much as we don't get a ton out of it, you can see how awkward they are from this. And if we position well for it, like they're under threat from that. So as much as it doesn't look like it's a great play, it's or a great result. It's a good play. We have 3 people on the mid line. You're dodging demo. Okay. I would have probably rather seen you dodge the demo towards the backboard rather than into the net, but I don't hate it. Just to keep someone left, if you catch my drift. Let me see your route. Yeah, you should follow that. Like, this is going moderately left. There's no shooting. There's no shooter. Follow it if you can, because no one else can from your team quickly. Even you just sitting underneath the ball puts pressure on them, and you've got 2 players that can get back into net in plenty of time. And then if he tries this play, you could have been up basically here already. And that's going to, if you can clear this over Suki's head, that's 2 players committed. So if you can hard read him from the sidewall here, you guys are in a golden situation. Fine. You can see like these are the positions where Turtle and Suki are in right now, are kind of what I'm saying when for what you guys could do instead of jumping at the ball. because he just has free possession, tries to, well, he gets it to himself in this case, and scores, actually. But his other option is to drop it to Suki if Suki decides to stay up cross, or he's got control as another option. So they've got a whole bunch of open space. Even if control had, like, you guys basically could position in something similar in circumstances, and as you can see, those kind of things can lead to goals relatively often. What did you guys specifically do here? Jay goes up, hurts your back, your front. Bubs needs to stay wider. So here, that's fine. From this position, person who, like, ideally you want the person back post to be able to have momentum if they need it. If either of you could potentially go mid, and one of you should, but the thing is, if Bubs goes, then you, Hertz, are stuck in your position, is the only place you should be in that case, which is almost impossible to ask of any player. It is possible, like, the potential is there, but this is a very hard thing to do. So by default, I always feel that you should keep the rotations flowing, like keep it like a literal flow is the only word I can come up with. But Hertz, you push out and Bubs comes back in. Is simple as that. Either person can go. Let the rotations go through. So Bubs comes back. Now he's up for this ball. You're at an awkward angle, so you would just drive underneath it, and then you would end up back post behind Bubs. So Bubs jumps and up here, and now let's say he gets a 50-50. By this time, you're here driving this direction. So you can either get back post if you need to, or if Bubs is 50 this ball up here, you can go for it next if you want to go for it. So Jay, like, the momentum works for everyone in that case. In this circumstance, you both, like, you guys got baited into the mistake of having two second men, or first men almost technically.
Yeah.
And yeah, neither of you have good momentum. Bubs tries to get momentum, but it's at a time where it doesn't matter because you need the touch more than you need momentum in this case. Which, yep. I don't love the waiting more often than not. Like I've advocated multiple times for second man push early, but Jay seems to find really good timings to just kind of chill. So
yeah,
in this I respect it. He gets the ball first. Yeah, so he's good at that. So he's got the play style where he knows the purpose of the play, like making sure you guys cover a net and are ready to go for any ball, and he understands how to do that while staying patient. I like to do it via just constant rotations, so that's kind of the difference. But as long as he's accomplishing the same tasks, it's great. Nice. Second man should never pick up a big pad going forward. They should never need to. There should always be a boost pad line to take. So Bubs in this case with Jay behind him should be taking this boost pad line this way. More for the most part on whatever play he's going to get, that if it works out, he's never going to need more than 36 boost. And by minimum, he should be getting 36 along this route, potentially more. And ideally, he starts with more. Alternatively, Jay can go forward, but he probably shouldn't bait Jay out, and it just needs to be better comps at that point. Because it's not going to matter, but someone should someone should be supporting your play, Hertz, in this case, and you don't have anyone backing you up. Back pass, nice. This is a circumstance where deeper is better. Jay going forward here makes it so that he now is going backwards here. If he had stayed back here and let Bubs go and stays here, now he's going forward on this challenge. And when this happens, he can actually get to it in a time to strike, because his angle right now doesn't give him a shot. Like he's not a threat from that angle. So that's partially due because he went forward too early. It's one of those things that are very difficult to change, but they can make a pretty big impact if you can manage it. Now he hecked up the read, but Jay has really good back post timing right now. There's not really much that can happen on this play, and he's the main person covering the net. So he's arriving at a good defensive position as Control is trying to make his touch, and then he just kind of, like, if he gets the read, he's done everything perfectly. And then even as is, it's because it's such a weird read, both of you guys are able to cover it in time. So he did that well. Do you guys have a high five in the midfield? Yep. Okay. Nick's there. Bub's there. Yeah.
I should be farther back.
Yep, 100%.
Yep, absolutely.
100% agree. Good call.
Because if they get a good 50, I'm fucked.
Mm-hmm. Not a bad attempt. Yeah, so luckily I don't need to do too much of a recap because I have it in video form. Overall it looked good. Still some like 2 second men, 2 third men situations where you guys are covering the same position. We saw a double commit from Jay and Bubs early in the game. We saw some other confusion kind of towards the middle and ends of the game. Hurts for you specifically, back post timing. Try and focus on that a little bit. Also, there was the when your team has a free touch, trust it. Make sure your offense is good, or at least when your team has control and your second man follow the play. We saw the one instance where that would have been very useful on defense because you would have made it to the ball when Bubs missed. Mm-hmm. So as much as they are technically different circumstances, they're kind of roughly the same idea. Bubs was first man on the one where you got scored on. If you follow him as second man, you would have gotten to that ball. There's a couple things I remember in the corner, but I don't remember exactly what we said. Anything you remember, wanted to bring up, wanted to go back and look at?
No, I think we're good.
All right, cool beans. I'll go ahead and call it.